Hey, let's talk about the Hasbro Black Series releases that went down yesterday.
I'm gonna pull them up right now because I want to have them fresh in my mind.
Yeah, kind of really random. Like
The characters they picked.
not the characters that they picked, but the fact that it seemed like a random Thursday, like no real heads up. It was like only 2 hours before you knew that they were going on pre-order on like Hasbro Pulse or wherever, but it just was like out of nowhere for me.
Yeah, that's a great. Well, hang on one second. Well, I thought that they were gonna do it like had they not teased it like they had teased the Power Rangers and the Marvel Legends one? Was it just like a surprise?
Yeah, because it was on a Thursday.
Good point. Good point.
It
Well, I thought
wasn't
it
a
was
fan
like
fun.
leaked or something.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought too when the pictures came out, and then like I looked at Hasbro's thing and they retweeted some article that was like, "Hey, they're gonna go up on pre-sale at 12," and I
Oh,
was like,
right.
"Oh shoot, okay."
And they have the
Uh,
new packaging.
and they have the new packaging, which is
Yeah,
weird because I think it was only like 3 weeks ago that there was the Star Wars, and they didn't show any of this.
I know. I wonder why they decided to save it. It wasn't like there was anything specially Star Wars about this week.
Yeah, and like the 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 new Mandalorian figure, like those images were out, I think, before Fan Friday were even happened for the Star Wars one.
Yeah, did people and they did were the stormtrooper pictures out or just for Mandalorian? Just
I think the Stormtrooper or the Mandalorian pictures were out, and I know for sure they had pictures of like the T Trooper with the clone trooper.
right. Yeah. Yeah,
That
I'm
was
looking at
out.
them now. Yeah.
So yeah, those it was kind of just super random.
Did you pre-order any of these?
Mhm. I was lucky enough to get the Mandalorian,
Yeah.
and I got um Ezra.
Ezra, the new Ezra.
Ezra, yeah. Yeah. I actually know nothing about this guy, but like I just know like one day I'm buying figures based off future projections. Like I'm like one day my son will watch Star Wars and like I'm like he's a popular character even though I don't know him, like I'm sure he'll watch Rebels and what
Have
and
you need to watch Rebels. Have you not watched Rebels?
I've watched bits and pieces.
Definitely watch Rebels. I mean, uh Zeb was the only one they had not made yet, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
So
he's like a
cool.
deluxe guy for
What do you mean deluxe? Is he going to cost more money?
yeah, he's 29.99.
Oh, does he have more accessories, or is it
I
just
th-
because he's a
I think
bigger
he's because
guy?
he's bigger.
Yeah, yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
But it was like, oh, he's a
He's got a
deluxe
lot. He's probably
line.
got a ton of articulation points because of how big he is.
Yeah, he looked like he had articulation points in his legs, like his ankles and stuff that are different than normal.
Right, right. Yeah, all the new tooling that would go into that.
Yeah. So it seems like if I'm wrong, so Mandalorian,
Um,
who we got? A new Darth Vader.
Admiral Akbar.
Mm. I want the Darth Vader because the one I have is the one where his helmet comes off and you can see like the egghead version of him.
Sure.
Yeah. So I want one that doesn't have the helmet that like falls off all the time. Admiral Akbar, was that seen before?
No, the Akbar is new, and the Ewok guy is new.
Mhm. What do you think of the packaging?
It's cool. I'm excited to see it in person because I can't really get a grasp of the like is the side slanted?
Oh
Like
yeah, good point. I didn't
I
notice
can't
that.
I can't really tell because some of the front facing photos you can still see the like art on the side and I'm like, "Oh, I couldn't when I saw them yeah, so I don't know. I don't know. I think that's the case that they're a little bit slanted with the image.
Mhm.
Um which is cool because I can tell you why they probably did that. Because when you're at Target, when you look at the vintage collection guys, it's really easy to flip through them to see every character.
Mhm.
But with the Black Series, because they're all the same size box and they all have the same red side, you can only see who they are by moving them enough to see the full figure or recognizing the name. But now you'll just be able to flip through everyone's photograph really easily when you go down the rack, which is really convenient.
Yeah, that's what I was
Um,
gonna say. I like these boxes. One, because the artwork looks beautiful,
yeah,
and like even that exact reason, you got to like really flip through to who they are or know what number someone
right.
is,
Oh,
or
is he 66 or what? Yeah.
well, I know some people are complaining because they bought all these people mitten box hoping with the numbers, and now this just like,
It's interesting because the snow speeder Luke that they're releasing, that's already come out, right? In vintage packaging.
but but he has a different head, right? I don't remember that head with like the not
No,
mask thing, but
they announced this figure when they announced the snow speeder
mm,
because they were like, "Oh, the snow speeder comes with Dak, and then you'll get Luke separately." And I thought
oh.
I'd seen box art for this snow speeder Luke already, but maybe I was wrong. Maybe this is the first time we're seeing it. But
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
yeah,
And then some stormtroopers, right?
a clone trooper, a Camino clone trooper, and then the. I'm pretty sure that like fans are calling the stormtroopers from the Mandalorian like the remnant troopers because they're
Hmm.
like what's left of the Empire, you know.
Mhm.
So it's basically that same stormtrooper. They've updated it a little bit. I think it's got a new head and probably some new articulation points. I'm not sure because I've never gotten one in hand.
Yeah.
But the Black Series Stormtrooper has always been gorgeous. So if they've improved it, I'm excited to see how much better it is. I'll probably end up buying it just for fun. You can never have
Mhm.
too many stormtroopers.
Yeah. They need to make stormtroopers like they make those guys from Marvel Legends.
Oh, in the small box?
Yeah.
I know, just throw one gun in there and be like done. If they had the price point that the AIM and Hydra guy
Hydra.
went for, then
Mhm.
oh yeah, I would jump on that. I mean, the problem is just that those bodies get used a million times. So it's so cheap for Marvel Legends to release those figures like that.
Mhm.
But with a Stormtrooper, it's like they're going to use that sculpt for years. So it's really, I know there's probably a lot more that goes into making that Stormtrooper figure, but I wouldn't be surprised. That's a good call, Doug. I bet they'll do something like that.
Yeah. I was just so shocked. I signed on right at 12, like
Yeah,
12:01, and like I saw the Mandalorian. It said 1999 on Hasbro Pulse instead of sold out, and I was just like, add. And
yeah.
then I got them, and then as soon as I got them, I went back, just to see. I wanted to see how fast it was gone, but he was already sold out as soon as I placed my
Wow.
order, and then went back to look at him again, and he was sold out.
I'm gonna wait. I mean, based off how easy it was to get the original Mandalorian, I'm gonna guess that this guy gets a huge release. Maybe not for 1999 though. Obviously, that's a great price.
Yeah.
But I got mine at the Disney store, so I mean, like, I bet I could get this guy at the Disney store. I'm not that worried about it.
Yeah,
But
hopefully they pack him more. So like,
yeah,
because this is the suit that he wears throughout the series instead of like the first episode,
the
like
first
the other
two
one.
episots, I think, or maybe the first three, because
Oh
it
yeah,
gets
you might be
destroyed
right.
by
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Mudhorn, I think. Yeah.
you're
Yep.
right. Yeah, but cool, man. Just vintage collectors though, not like nothing.
I know, and I understand their feelings, because they like. I mean, I collect those guys too,
Mhm.
but it does feel like they feel actively slighted. Like there's an like Hasbro hates them, and I'm like, Hasbro doesn't hate you. Hasbro doesn't hate you. They like they make what sells, So it's like like I feel bad, but it's like this announcement's happening. You can't stop the Black Series. It's inevitable. They're gonna keep making Black Series guys, but
Yeah,
the profits from these will go towards being able to make weirder vintage collection guys.
yeah. It seems like there's more of a line in the sand that's being drawn. Like people are like not about buying Black Series now because they feel like it's killing their their vintage collection.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably I understand the logic in that too, but I really feel like it's the opposite. I mean, Hasbro's only going to take a risk if they feel like they're making enough money, right? I mean, and they're making hand over fist. They make everything. Like, I'm sure they're making bank on Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's the most profitable toy line in existence. But
I do feel there's a misstep somewhere
yeah.
because my son right now, he's into Disney's cars.
Hmm.
And so I've never been into Disney's cars or like watched the films before he watched them on Disney Plus.
Right.
As soon as he watched them, like every week, every time I go to Target, I go to the Disney section, the car section, and
Yeah.
we end up picking out someone like
Right.
Lightning McQueen, Mater, so far and so forth, so on and so forth.
Right.
And you have to have those guys like Lightning McQueen, where who's never, the third movie came out, what, years ago at this point?
I think like 3 years ago.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
can still buy everyone, I can still buy
Right.
everyone.
They make
But
every.
if I didn't have all my Star Wars toys or know how Star Wars works, and this was I had the same experience with Star Wars as I did the Disney cars, I'd be way over my head. Like
I
if
know.
I
Yeah.
if Grayson was just into Star Wars right now and I went in and I was like, I need to get a Han Solo, like good luck. There's like
I know.
you're just getting uh unfortunately who's there's the two peg warmers now for Black Series. It's that
It's always like it's always Jin
like
Urso.
she's the vintage
Yeah.
collection, and then I see the new girl from Rise of Skywalker. She was
Oh! You mean like the one that was gonna be Lando's daughter, but then it wasn't?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, of course. You see her. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's always her and like Snoke and Jyn or so, and like no Hans or Luke's. Like where's the main guys?
Think about when we were
Or Leia
younger,
or Ray. Ray's there, but
but
you
but
know what I
but
mean.
but sometimes not. Even Ray. Like think about when we were younger, and like the vintage collection originally came out in 2005, I think,
Hmm.
is when
Hmm.
it was originally when they did those original like the vintage packaging with the modern figures.
Hmm.
But they were doing like the legacy collection or the saga collection. Like if you went to the toy store and you went to the Star Wars section, it was like 3/4 inch figures, like all like rows and back, and you could get like I remember going to Target with my dad and being like 13 or like 12 or 13 or something, and getting like Darth Malik from freaking Knights of the Old Republic
Yeah.
and characters from the Dark Horse comic books, and of course they had Han Solo, like you were saying, and like I remember being like, oh, like look, like they made an even better Bespin Luke, or like look at this, and so it does. It must does it does sting. It does sting a little bit to go to the Star Wars section and be like, this is all they're making. Like this is all that's being stocked.
Yeah. And then if you go online, it's like either pre-order it or you're paying triple or double the price on it.
Well, there's also, I mean, with the internet getting bigger and with Star Wars growing even bigger again with new movies and the demand, you have a lot more, I feel like, people going and like these people that know the target schedules, they know the days that these figures hit the shelves, and they're buying everything and then they're reselling it. So it's like the market's being inflated. People
Mm,
aren't even getting a chance to go get it at 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 like a store price. If everybody was going to just buy one for themselves for their collection, I'm sure there'd be way more on the shelf. But it's people being afraid. It's like that. It's like the same thing that's going on right now with toilet paper. That it's just like I gotta buy every Luke.
yeah. I I just bring back the like 3-inch basic figures.
I know. People complained about the people basically killed that line too. Even though for people for your son that would be perfect,
Yeah,
right? Because
exactly.
it's affordable and they're iconic characters.
And they go well with vehicles. Like I'm buying
Yep.
Black Series figures like that he might play with one day, but I can't afford like some big all 6-inch scale, you know, vehicles, you know.
Well, even the 3¼ inch scale Slave One they just released is like $300 or something. I couldn't believe it. I was like, "What? Like, is this that much better than the last Slave One you released? I didn't know it was going to be so much."
Yeah. Yeah, I just want the basic figures in, just so I can go in and, I mean, you have basic figures for Marvel. Like I went in yesterday to Target, or like not
Yeah,
yesterday, whatever, this last week, and you could get movie Captain America. Like there was three of them, and Iron
yeah.
Man, like just the basic ones. Like that's all you need.
Well, even though it is sort of growing slowly, the vintage collection is making a comeback. I mean, and they are getting better, and they are starting to reuse these new sculpts over and over with like that new articulated stormtrooper body being used for like the stormtrooper Luke, and then also like you know the like army building stuff. And there's now new tooling added, like they're re-releasing iconic characters like you said, um like Luke and Han, but now they're even better than before, but they're just so hard to find. They're
Yeah.
so few and far between. But maybe as that grows we'll get more of them. I'd like to think so, but I don't know. It's interesting to see like, oh, because of the Empire Strikes Back anniversary, it seemed like every release for 2020 was Empire Strikes Back related. It was like a bunch of Empire Strikes Back
Hmm.
um, themed waves of,
Yeah.
if you wanted like original trilogy guys.
Hmm.
So I'm curious of like we'll keep going through that cycle. Like, oh, when Return the Jedi, when the Return the Jedi like wave hits, we'll get like new versions of all those guys, and then the cycle will start anew, and we'll get new, like even cooler Phantom Menace guys. Like who knows?
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what will happen. Yeah,
Yeah. People used to bag on Jar Jar, but now he's gonna sell so quickly
it's
in
like
any line.
yeah, Jar Jar with ankle rockers. We got to get
Yeah.
him. You can move his ears.
Yeah. But you're right. I reminisce about the times going to Toys R Us or even a Walmart or whatever, and like just having like, ooh, which version of Obi-Wan am I gonna get? Like,
I know. That episode 3 Obi-Wan that they would kept boxing, I bought like twice just because it's so good. That older one.
yeah,
I remember seeing it for the first time, being like, they're killing it, and now it's just like, well, oh well. I
yeah,
like Black Series though. I'm not complaining. They can.
yeah. What was that?
I said they can fight my Power Rangers.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I posted something on the other day. It was like, are we buying any figures that aren't Hasbro? And like,
yeah,
for that's real. Like, what toy line?
yeah. I, I'm still waiting for DC to get my money again. Like,
Yeah.
it's like earn my wallet back, DC. Like, I'm not buying these McFarlane guys.
Yeah. And DC's best line right now are those 3-inch
Yeah,
guys.
they
So
are. I know. I know.
yeah. Cool, man. Well, please go like and subscribe to our YouTube as well. That'd be awesome.
Please.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool.
Other than that, it's not less phenomenal. It's more
More phenomenal.
phenomenal.